So you're thinking about buying a home and you're wondering, do I buy now or do I wait? Okay, let's just address the elephant in the room right now. You're assuming because I'm a realtor, I'm going to tell you to buy right now just because I want to get paid. Well, you're wrong. Now that I've gotten that out of the way and hopefully restored some of my credibility, let's talk about whether you should buy in 2023 or 2024. And we're getting after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is about eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good, the bad, the yin, the yang, about living in Richmond and the surrounding counties of Hanover, Henrico, Chesterfield, New Kent, Goochland, and Powhatan, then subscribe below and tap the notifications bell so you can be the first to know about the current market in Richmond, Virginia. My name is Scott Durnley with Joyner Fine Properties. My team and I get calls and emails from folks just like you every single day, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, heck, even 9 months, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. All of that is in the description below. We can help you make a smooth move to Richmond, Virginia. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to share with you a great resource that you definitely don't want to miss that could save you lots of time and effort if you're thinking about purchasing a home in the greater Richmond area. All right, so whether you buy in 2023 or 2024 depends mainly on two things. What is your goal for home ownership, and when will the market bring you there? That is probably not what you expected, so let's dive deeper into these two items. Let's start with your goals. Number one, is your goal to buy when homes are more affordable? Is this strictly about your wallet and your monthly budget? Or is your goal to buy at the best possible price? Do you want to buy at rock bottom and you don't really want to catch that falling star and end up upside down in the home? I have people tell me that they don't really want to buy until prices come down 10, 20, 30%. That's going to make you kind of sit on the sideline and wait, right? Well, you have to really think hard about this. These are two very, very different things. You cannot have both in the Richmond market, and let me explain. Interest rates drive affordability in an exponential way. We're going to talk about that a lot in this video, interest rates driving affordability. If you want things to be more affordable, you're going to see this much more effectively through interest rates going down. All right, I'm going to kind of hopefully make this make sense for you with a few examples. All right, I'm going into the Wayback Machine and we're going to go take a look in Western Henrico County. This is kind of your Short Pump and Glen Allen area. We're going to go back in the time machine to January of 2022. So not quite 2 years ago, but almost. So the median sales price in January of 2022 in Western Henrico was $425,000. Now, back then, interest rates were 3%. So your principal and interest portion of your monthly mortgage payment was $1,792. So let's fast forward to today. To get that same monthly payment at the current 7% interest rate, the median sales price would have to drop to right around $270,000. So prices would need to drop by right at $155,000, or the equivalent of 36%. So let's think about this. Is that happening? Are prices in Western Henrico actually going down? How close are we getting to that target price? As of today, the median home sales price in Western Henrico is $465,000, which is actually up by approximately 10% from January of 22. And, because in January of 22, it was $425,000. Now we're at $465,000. At the current 7% interest rate, that would mean your principal and interest portion of your monthly payment would be $3,093, which is right at $1,300, or a whopping 73% more than if you had bought that same median priced home in Western Henrico less than 2 years ago. All right, that's Western Henrico. We see what's happening there. So let's come south of the river and take a peek at Midlothian, which is part of Chesterfield County. Let's see how the numbers look there. All right, so we're going back again into that Wayback Machine. Median sales price in January of 2022 was $415,000 in Midlothian. At that rate back then of 3%, your principal and interest portion of your monthly payment was right at $1,750. All right, fast forward to today. To get that same monthly payment at the current 7% interest rate, that median sales price would have to be right around $263,000. So prices would need to drop by $152,000, or roughly 37%. All right, is that happening? What are prices in Midlothian? What are they looking like now? How close are we getting to that target price of $263,000? Well, as of today, the median home price in Midlothian is $450,000, which is up approximately 8% from the $415,000 in January of 2022. So at the current 7% interest rate, the principal and interest portion of your monthly payment would be $2,995, which is right at $1,245, or a whopping 69% more than if you had bought that same median priced home in Midlothian just less than 2 years ago in January of 2022. I could continue with these examples kind of all over the different counties of Richmond, and I did run the numbers, and they all come out roughly the same, so I'm not going to bore you with a million examples of these, but again, the numbers are kind of the same. Prices would need to drop by roughly 1/3 to achieve the same monthly payment as in January of 2022. But in that time period, prices have done the exact opposite. They've actually risen 8 to 10%. So that's just something to think about there. All right, I know that was a ton of data to absorb, but as you can see, interest rates have a huge impact on affordability. Again, I'm going to kind of be hammering that home during this video. If interest rates go down by 1%, you would need to have an 11% decrease in home prices to have the same effect on affordability. Just think about that. 1% on interest rate, you would need to have 11% drop in home prices for the same impact on affordability. That's a big disparity. So what is more likely to happen going forward in the Richmond housing market? That 1% drop in interest rates or an 11% drop in home prices? Well, we want to see affordability come through price drops, but more realistically, it is going to come through interest rate mortgages. Again, interest rates are the true driver of affordability. Secondly, in Richmond, interest rates also drive demand. Now tell me the truth, when I was going through those numbers earlier, you were probably expecting me to say prices dropped from January 22 to the present because of rate increases, which, as we know, hurts affordability. That would just make sense. Affordability goes down, prices go down. But instead, we saw the exact opposite. Prices actually rose during that time period. So why is that? This gets a little trickier, but we're gonna talk about it. It's kind of economics 101. It's the laws of supply and demand. Supply, which in this case is the amount of new homes hitting the market, has tightened dramatically. People with that low 3% interest rates from years ago, they simply do not want to move and trade in that rate for the new higher rate. I mean, that kind of makes sense. I have 2.75% locked in for, the period of my loan, and it would take, an act of Congress or, a natural disaster, something big in my life to make me want to move. And a lot of people feel the same way. Another thing we have is the Richmond job market is still very, very strong. So the demand is still there for housing. So tight supply, good demand is keeping prices high. So think about this if you are counting on affordability to come through lower prices. If that same $415,000 home in Midlothian did actually drop to $263,000 in order to match that same monthly payment, what would happen in this scenario? What would happen? Well, in that event, there would be a relative stampede of new buyers, just like yourself, that would drive the prices right back up. Waiting for affordability through price drops will not happen in a vacuum. You are not the only person that is waiting out there for that to happen. And like I said, if it happens, there's going to be a heck of a lot of buyers, flooding into the market. Again, if affordability is the most important thing to you, you are most likely going to find that through rates coming down, not prices. Okay, let's look at what would need to happen for you to have both. You want both affordability and rock bottom prices. All of the people out there, the pundits that are predicting huge drops in home values, this is what they're counting on happening. First, let's get to affordability. I know this is kind of getting to be a broken record, but for affordability to happen, you would have to see interest rates come down. I know I've been hammering that home. As we see now, again, interest rates have a bigger impact on affordability than home prices. Second, in order for this to happen, we would have to see buyer demand evaporate in the midst of declining interest rates as homes are becoming more affordable. If demand will not evaporate, and in Richmond, I don't believe that's going to happen, you would have to see a massive increase in supply for home prices to drop. There would have to be a total oversaturation of affordable homes hitting the market for buyer demand not to drive these prices right back up. I don't see that scenario playing out, but I would love to hear your opinion in the comment section below if you feel otherwise. So to recap, your most likely path to affordability is through interest rate drops, not price increases. I'm sorry, not price decreases. Rates have been predicted to be coming down in the next year or so by the so-called experts. I heard a wonderful saying once, and that's you are married to your home, but you are only dating the mortgage. Think about that. Tight supply and solid demand look like they will keep home prices high in the near future. So one strategy you may want to think about employing is you can marry that house right now and then dump that mortgage in future years when rates come down and you can refinance. So again, just something to think about. Okay, let's look at things if rock bottom prices are your goal. This will only come through very low demand, so you will probably have to swallow the idea of a very high mortgage rate for this to happen. A massive oversupply of affordable housing could lower demand as well, but you have to ask yourself the question, where would these homes come from? So something to be mindful of. Rock bottom prices through higher interest rates? Yeah, it's technically possible. Now, rock bottom prices with lower interest rates, I don't see that happening. But again, if you disagree, please comment below. I would love to hear from you. Now that you understand each side, what is your goal? Is it an affordable monthly payment? Is that the most important thing to you? Or is it the rock bottom prices, even though this goal may mean you have a higher monthly payment? Because in Richmond, you're really not going to get both. When the Fed, here's another thing to think about, when the Fed has raised rates aggressively in the past, they have also tended to come down. Once they start lowering rates, they've also tended to come down pretty fast. That should happen again if history repeats itself. So my recommendation is be ready. Get pre-approved with a lender. I have several amazing lenders that I can refer you to that can help you take that very important first step. Have your down payment and buying plan in place. Know where you want to buy and know what you want to buy. This way you can pounce when we feel the timing is right and you find that perfect home. Well, that's it for today's video and small economics lesson. I hope you found this information helpful. I was actually an econ major in college and I am a certified public accountant, so I do have a background in this area. Again, my name is Scott Durnley with Joyner Fine Properties, and I've helped countless folks move to the Richmond area in my 20 plus years in real estate, and I would love to work with you. I created a very helpful relocation guide that will save you hours of time and research if you're thinking about relocating to this area. It's a must download and you can link to it right below. So if you're thinking about buying a home and would like to talk, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. All that information again is below. And I would love to help you on your path to home ownership. Have a wonderful day.